All right, sorry about that, guys. The video stopped on me abruptly. I don't know why I did that, but anyways, yeah, I was saying I did like a very light spray of the Tamiya color on him, pretty much all around to get like that nice clear top coat. So you can probably kind of see it like now that it's like in the light, you can kind of see that. And as far as like the somewhat glossy nature of the black, I think that's honestly just a combination of like some of the clear nail lacquer that I use. Like I think some of it's still coming through. But and then plus the clear coat on top of that, the Tamiya color might be adding to that shine a little bit for the black. But I like it. I think it honestly looks pretty good. It's not too glossy. It's kind of like a semi-gloss type of finish for the black. So I really like how that stands out and kind of shines on the costume. It's really pretty much only going to show show like that on like his legs and arms because that's where I used most of that. As far as like his torso, I didn't really touch his torso. I didn't modify it much. Only real change I made to like his torso was the bottom right here. Hasbro's original figure. They had the black. You'll see if you look up like images on Google. I would look it up, but I'm gonna just save us some time. But if you look at like their figure online, the black kind of stopped, again like on the sides, kind of like how the legs did. And so to make it a little more accurate and get that jagged pattern back, I took like a micron pen or a Sharpie and basically kind of drew like extended that bottom black stripe on each side so that it would kind of line up with the one above it and the one above that. So it should be like three kind of like spikes basically pointing in towards the torso. So yeah, and I think that honestly added to like aesthetically, I think that makes him look a lot better. But yeah, and then I also did added some black to the belt, like the Dino foot symbol on his belt. I basically colored those in black, the top three pieces and then the bottom piece, and yeah, sealed those in, and yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the custom. Um, I'll show you his alternate hands real quick. So here's the alternate hands that he comes with. Like I said, I'm probably not going to swap these out too much, but just in case you wanted to see them, I repainted those. I did kind of sloppy right here. I should have put more white. I actually like ran out of the white, man. You should have seen the paper that I had for the that I use. I'll try to grab it at the end if I have enough time. But I used a lot of. I ended up using, where is it? I ended up using literally all of this bottle, man. This Vallejo model color white, because I didn't really know what I was doing, and I should have made my paint last a little better. I think there's still some in there, but it's kind of like dried up, so I would have to like probably cut this open to really get down in there and use more white. But yeah, man. Matter of fact, yeah, I did leave some stuff, guys. I'll be right back. This is a long video. This is part two, but I might as well show you everything if I'm gonna make it this long. So I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Hopefully that's the last time I gotta leave. But anyways, here is. I wanted to show you guys in case you wanted to do a custom of this. The brushes that I use. I got like a pack of these. You can basically, if you go in the arts and crafts section of Target, you can find like a pack of like a bunch of paint brushes. Like they come in like a what is this? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like a 7 or 8 pack. And so this is like the original one I used, and then I guess I couldn't find this one after a while, and so I ended up picking up another one. But anyways, yeah, you can get like these come in like a 7 or 8 pack, so you can pick those up at Target, and they give you like there's like all different kinds of sizes and stuff. So if you want like a more thin tip, like a thin type of brush, they definitely have like varying types of brush brushes on them so that you can cover areas differently. And I basically just use this little mason jar that my friend made me to fill it up with water and keep my paintbrushes wet. I would suggest you probably. I noticed that like when I was painting the figure, like especially the white parts, um, you obviously want to have your brush wet when you're like applying some of the paint, but you don't want it to be too wet because if it holds too much water, it's gonna like basically you know like um, run down your figure, and then you might end up getting paint on parts that you don't want it to be. So I would suggest use paper and stuff to kind of dab your brush and try to kind of get off some of that water. You obviously want it to be like kind of wet, but you don't want to like soak it. So you want like a nice you know um, medium amount of moisture in your brush before you put the paint on. It's gonna help get you a lot better finish on your figure as well. So you can see right here, this is literally like a paper that I used pretty much like front and back. You can see all these like paint spots and stains. I mean, that was literally me just like I said, I kept picking this project up, so I was starting and stopping. So I literally was trying to get this. Some of these are like the micron pins, like when they dried out, and I kept trying to get more ink and stuff to come out, but it just wouldn't come. So, but yeah, a lot of the white spots that you see are basically either paint or the matte varnish finish that I use. I didn't even show you that, but yeah, this is what I ended up using. I forgot to mention this, but this is what I ended up using to to like really seal the colors in. So before I even applied the Tamiya color, I used this, and this worked really well for me. It's a 100% acrylic resin. You can see right there from the top. Get some focus on it. There we go. Matte varnish. I got this also off of Amazon, and I think yeah, this is by Vallejo too. So I decided, since I use like Vallejo white to paint the white parts on them, I was like, I might as well use Vallejo again. Keep like products with like products. That's probably the best advice I could use if you're gonna like paint and customize your figures. You want to use like products. So since I use Vallejo white, I decided to use a Vallejo matte resin finish for him, and that really sealed in the colors pretty well. Obviously, I had to apply multiple layers, like multiple layers of this to like really keep the color in, but like once it dries, it dries well, and it's a really good way to keep in your paints because it's a resin, so it dries like to like a hard finish, and it even says it dries quickly to a hard finish to protect colors. You can see right there. So, and it really works. So yeah, and you can obviously like dilute this. Yeah, I would suggest you dilute it because if you don't, it'll leave kind of like a cloudy finish on your figure. So you probably want to dip it in some water before you like maybe like pour a little bit out, put your paintbrush in it, dip your paintbrush back in the water to kind of dilute it down, and then maybe dab a little bit off on like a piece of paper, and then start applying it on the figure. You just want to make sure you don't get like a cloudy finish, especially over like the black parts because that'll mess up the look. But yeah, so I got like all my paintbrushes that I use here in the water. Well, this isn't full of water, but obviously when I was painting it was. I've got like all my different brushes. You want to alternate between brushes. Probably don't want to use like the same brush that you use to apply the resin to paint your figure. Like you probably don't want to use that like the same brush. Probably want to like switch them up. So like I was using like this like kind of red one for the paint a lot. Red and yellow I think I use mostly for the paint. Or actually no, red and green I use mostly for the paint, and then blue and yellow I use for like the matte varnish, the Vallejo varnish finish. So yeah, probably try to keep your paint brushes as separate as you can, so you don't get like any weird finishes. Don't mix them with the varnish brushes that you use. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it. Like I said, oh yeah. So last but not least, I will show you. By the way, the new swords that he has, the ones from the Dino Action White Ranger, they do fit with the laser arrows effect that the Lightning Collection White Ranger comes with. So you can put either one, you can slot either one into the effects piece. Although the only thing about the extended sword is the blade is a little flimsy, so it's gonna kind of like wiggle around, but it does fit inside of there in case you were curious. So you can see I have it slotted in there, and you can also do it with the regular version of the sword, which is probably what you would want to display him with anyways. But yeah, here's like the regular version of the Dino Action dragozord and all the laser arrows. So that shit, man, this looks so dope, man. I love it. This is such a cool effects piece. Definitely one of the coolest effects pieces in the Lightning collection, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, so they do fit in there, so that turned out to work very nicely. Yeah, and so I also got, just to show off some of his arsenal, I've got the Dragozord right here. This is one of like the very old Dragozords, like one of the first ones that came out. So just to show, all things White Ranger, I've got this little Dragozord right here. I didn't really this is pretty much, untouched. The only time I really put any paint on this guy was like a little bit of black to like the top of his, fin and everything. But yeah, there's the Dragozord. And then I've got the Dino white Dino ATV right here. Back it up a little bit so you can get a full shot. Boom. Dino white ATV. So I added paint on this. I basically repainted like all the white parts on top that you see. This back part was actually like pretty white already, so I didn't really need to go over that, but I felt like I should. And then I also definitely painted like the front part because it was a very like dull white at first, and so to make it kind of match the back and the White Ranger better, I used that same Vallejo white. It's kind of like why I ended up running through like the whole bottle, but because I painted him and this. I added some black to like the front of this part right here. Added like pretty much all the black you see right there that wasn't there before, so I put that in. I also painted the black parts right here in the front, these black triangles, and in the back that you see back there on the back part of the seat. So yeah, there is his Dino White ATV. Now, unfortunately, man, I was messing with this thing yesterday. Well, while I was painting him, this front piece is actually not supposed to look like that, like this silver piece that's sticking out before the head. It's actually supposed to be like pushed all the way in because this is like supposed to be like a launching projectile. Like you press the button on top and this thing launches off. But unfortunately, the little piece that pegs into that part broke off on me while I was working on him. And I tried using some super glue to put it back in there, and it freaking snapped off on me twice. And the first time I got it to fall out, I had to use like a combination of hot and cold water to make it fall out. And then so I tried to glue it back better, put it back in there, and it snapped off on me again. And I was just so fed up. And the second time I couldn't get it out, and without getting it out, I couldn't push this piece all the way, back into where it's supposed to be, like, lined up with this. So I basically just took a hot glue gun and glued like the end part of that piece and just pushed it in as far as it would go. So this technically is inaccurate. It sticks out and it looks very awkward, but that's what I got for right now. So yeah, that's most of his arsenal. But yeah, man, I'll just show you real quick the legacy figure right here. This guy, I was planning for a second to use this holster for him. Like I was gonna take this off, kind of cut off the one that came on the Hasbro figure and basically like swap it out and use a gold Gundam to repaint this, and then swap it out, because I saw somebody on Instagram, I'll leave his link definitely in the description. Somebody actually did that, like they did a swap with the holsters, and I think it actually looks pretty cool, like almost better, but I decided not to do that because I like the Hasbro one a lot. I like where the sword comes down and everything, and like it's mostly show accurate. Like I like how the pad stops at like the second spike on there, and then the sword and everything. So, but yeah, guys, I'm gonna run out of time. I'm talking crazy, but anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. There it is, my custom of the Dino Thunder White Ranger from the Lightning Collection. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please subscribe to your boy so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming videos, and